Good morning. My name is Cornel Kossuth, also known as the Poetry Busker. I usually work in London on the banks of the River Thames, and I am this week's featured poet by my very esteemed colleague Jospeh Jablonski, also known as the Walking Mall Poet. Joseph asked me whether I could do a short video on poetry commissions, which is sort of, a topic that's really important at the moment, because commissions are what is keeping a lot of us alive when we can't actually go out and busk, either due to the weather or due to the coronavirus. So here is my short take on how I approach poetry commissions. I hope you enjoy it. So this is my poetry notebook in which I write all my poems. When I first receive a poetry commission, I try to find out as much as possible about the people that this poem is for. So this poem was for two Star Wars fans, and we see here May the 4th, Star Wars. They were going to get married, but because of the pandemic, they couldn't. And so they asked for a poem written by me to celebrate their love and to also be read at their hand fasting ceremony, which they were going to do instead of the marriage. Now you can see I've written at the top here a few notes about each of the people that this poem is going to be about. And that's really important to get as much of an idea I find as possible. And you can see I've ticked off some of the things that I've built in. I don't always end up using all of the information. It does depend very much on where the creative flow goes. A lot of poems start this way, as a note. As I'm thinking of the ideas, lines come to me, or certain things, just word combinations. So the other person in this poem was Louise, and so I wanted the poem to end on blue easily, which has Louise in it. And then I go on about actually writing the poem, as you can see here. Now this is a rhyming poem, and it's got a rhyme scheme. I also had a syllable count, which I wrote here just to remind me of what to do. And it's turned out to be a fairly long poem. So it goes over the page here, and you can see, of course, various reworkings. This is the first stanza again. This is the last one with the blue easily at the end. After I've written the whole poem, I tend to then do a first typed version, and you can see here I still, apart from correcting typos, I'm still working on various parts, lines that don't work. In this case, the end product of the commission was a typed up poem that I then sent to the pair. They very kindly asked me whether I would be present at their hand fasting ceremony to read the poem out loud, which I then did. And so that was very touching for me to be invited to share that special day with the two of them, having created this poem for them. Even more elaborate commissions all start in this notebook. So this is the one I did for Joseph, which was a poem about London. And he had asked for it to be done more decoratively. And so I had the idea of putting it on a London map and then illustrating it with drawings reminiscent of Blake. Now, I don't have that to show you here, but I do have another commission that I did, which was similarly illuminated and done with pictures. And this revolves around, as you can see, the little prince. We've got fox here, drawn in the style of Saint-Exupéry, and with a more realistic fox here. We've got the Lady and the Unicorn, based on the unicorn tapestries in Paris, where also these flowers come from. So that all keys into the poem, and also the personality of the person for whom this commission was done. You've got the fox here in the wheat fields, and the sort of little prince, caged bird, shrews, animals. And these all relate to the taming, the topic of the poem, with the falcon here. And then just a bit of sort of patterned embellishment here. So that is all possible to have your poem done in this sort of much more elaborate style. I hope that was an interesting, if somewhat short, introduction to how I approach poetry, commissions, and what is possible from a typewritten poem all the way to a more elaborate illuminated design. Do please look me up on Instagram at Poetry Busker or on Facebook as The Poetry Busker. Thank you very much to Joseph for allowing me some airtime on his show, and goodbye and take care.